Ah yes, fame. Fame is a fickle thing. It comes and goes like the changing of seasons. Now, following the doozy of a year that this has been and all the cancellations, scandals, and fads that have come and gone, I think we're gonna see a changing of the guards, if you will, in regards to fame. So here are some predictions of the top 10 celebrities who won't be famous next year. What's going on, guys? I'm your host Bree Room and welcome back to Top 10 Beyond the Screen. Before we jump in, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and also turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. Also, be sure to check out our playlist to watch more videos like this one, and stick around until the end for some bonus content. Starting us off at number 10, Kanye West. Kanye is on this list because of the shenanigans he's gotten into this year. Between his presidential campaign, his Twitter sprees, and now his most recent stunt with tweeting out his music contracts and peeing on his Grammy, Kanye is something else. But I think that next year, Kanye's reign of fame will come to an end because of his recent contract stunt. What he's done by releasing the images of all his contracts is incredibly illegal. He's breaking every NDA in the books, he's violating everything in those contracts, and it's getting messy. I'm guessing that this is gonna end up being a huge legal battle, and I think Kanye knows this is what's going to happen too, because he even tweeted out a piece of merch that said "Kim is my lawyer," basically showing that he's ready for this fight. And although I applaud him for going after the rights to his music, this may have just cost him his whole career. The rights to his masters are going to cost a lot of money, and so he's going to have a lot of money put aside for this. However, Kanye is also going in for the fight of his life, trying to get these rights as well as fighting his breach of contract following his release of the images of his contracts. He's not gonna have much money after this, and the legal fees, because although he says that Kim is his lawyer, she's not really a lawyer yet. I'm guessing after the legal fees and whatnot, he's not gonna have the money to buy back his music and will have to sign another label to make more music. But after this stunt, I don't think anyone's going to want to risk taking a chance on Kanye, and therefore he will lose his career and subsequently his fame. At number 9, Shane Dawson. Okay, now moving on to YouTuber Shane Dawson. Shane has been on the receiving end of a lot of backlash in the past and also this year. His career has been pretty rocky for years because of a number of scandals, but following the backlash of this year specifically, I think this might be the end of Shane's fame. Shane has 21 million subscribers, and he saw a big jump in popularity in recent years with his focus on more lengthy and highly produced documentary series, but this year, most of the hard work came undone. He was cancelled a lot this year and had to issue some apologies along the way, but I think that this might be the end of an era. Following the rise in popularity of the Black Lives Matter movement and Shane's cancellation for his racist past, there's been an apparent shift in society and people have become more vigilant of discrimination amongst other things. So were Shane to come back onto the platform and try to make his videos again, I don't think he'll be met with the same praise as before since he's lost quite a bit of support. He may very well pull a Jenna Marbles and leave the platform and subsequently fade from the internet. In at 8, Ellen Degeneres. This one is kind of obvious, but we're gonna talk about her anyway. You've no doubt heard of Ellen's tumultuous year and the long list of allegations against her. Now, although her show hasn't been cancelled and no real action has been taken against Ellen, that doesn't necessarily mean she's off the hook. Throughout this whole year, we've seen people come out of the woodworks to talk about Ellen and bring about more controversies, and really they've just painted a pretty bad picture of her. So going into next year, she's probably not gonna be carrying much fame with her. She now has a reputation of being mean and whatnot, so I doubt that people will really want to work with her after this. Things for her have been slowly falling apart this year, so next year I do believe that we will see the end of the Ellen Show and a toast. Coming in at number 7, J.K. Rowling. This one might be a little controversial because it's J.K., and as the queen of Harry Potter, she may not completely lose her fame, but she's definitely on her way to losing credibility. Recently, she's come under fire for allegedly being transphobic and speaking out about her transphobic views. The criticism she's been receiving lately have been coming from all sides, between the Harry Potter cast and general fans. The comments that J.K. has been making about trans issues have seen people coming back to bite her. So many people are losing respect for the famous author that some fans are even getting their Harry Potter tattoos removed because they no longer support her. A large portion of the fan base identifies with the character of Harry Potter because of how his story shows the growth of finding acceptance in a community that supports them, much like the LGBT community. Since JK is now coming out with her take on trans issues, this is turning out to be her downfall, as a large portion of the fandom has now lost faith and are pulling their support. JK might not be famous for too much longer at this rate. In at 6, Tyra Banks. Supermodel Tyra Banks has come come under fire this year for her show America's Next Top Model. Fans came back to rip her apart for perpetuating toxicity, sexism, racism, and unhealthy body image in the early years of the show. Though Tyra has turned around advocating for inclusivity and acceptance in the modeling industry in recent years, it's her past actions that people are focusing on. Tyra used to be one of the biggest and most famous models in the world, but over the years her fame has begun to fade into obscurity, and with the recent backlash of ANTM, that's really just digging her career deeper and deeper into the ground. Before the pandemic hit, Tyra was set to launch a model-esque theme park where you could be a supermodel for the day. Think Wanna-Do City but fashion. But so far there's been no launch. In recent years, Tyra has also tried launching a beauty line, but that failed. And her model land thing just isn't really picking up either. Now she's a host on Dancing with the Stars, and that shows kind of where careers go to die. No offense to Tyra, like she was my queen growing up, but I don't think that her fame will be hanging on for very much longer after this year. Halfway through at number 5, Joe Exotic. Netflix's Tiger King documentary came out just as quarantine started, so naturally, as everyone was bored in the house and in-house bored, people gravitated to this new edition and it became a hit very quickly. Joe Exotic rose to fame and he and his personality became something of a meme. But like most fads do, it started to fade. Sure, we've seen Joe's name pop up in the news here and there, but it's really just him trying to stay relevant while behind bars. As 2021 rolls around, people are going to completely forget about Joe Exotic and move on to the next fad as it comes around. He was funny and popular at the beginning because his character was so unusual, but when people really got to thinking about the wrong he's done, people really just started to hate him, and now he's no longer trending. In at 4, Lea Michele. Lea is another one of those stars who's been called out for their past unpleasant behavior. Earlier this year, fellow Glee castmate Samantha Marie Ware called Lea Michele out for making her time on the show a living hell. Samantha accused Lea of bullying and just being an all-around unpleasant person to work with. With her microaggressions and bad attitude, Lea was also faced with scrutiny from other people that she worked with like Keith Powell, Heather Morris, and Gerard Canonico. Now following their expose of Lea, the actress is now being seen negatively by the entertainment industry. I think that as a result we're going to see a similar, if not same, pattern as Ellen, where people don't really want to work with her and ultimately will fade from the spotlight. At number 3, Tana Mojo. YouTuber Tana Mojo is somehow always involved in some sort of scandal. Most recently we've seen Tana face backlash for her alleged treatment of fellow YouTubers Kaylin Berry and Nessa Briella, as well as her racist past. Much like Shane, she's been faced with similar scandals in the past, and she's lost some of her following because of it. Now again, following the Black Lives Matter movement and really just the societal shift and focus on discrimination, people are really vigilant of the action and treatment of others. So do I think that we could see Tana's fame fade? Yes, but also no. She's so big on the platform that it would probably take more serious cancellations for her to really feel its effects, because right now, following her last controversy, she seems pretty unbothered by it. But if she continues to get such bold criticism, she could end up losing much of her fan base and fade away. Coming in at number 2, Amber Heard. Oh boy, Amber Heard is right up there with Ellen as public enemies of 2020. Amber is now getting tons of backlash after people learn the truth about her relationship with Johnny Depp. As their defamation trial continues to unfold, more and more people are hating Amber for her treatment of her ex-husband. Following the backlash, her career has taken a hit. There's been a petition going around to remove her from the Aquaman sequel, and she's apparently been forced to star in indie films instead of big Hollywood productions because her fame and reputation have taken such a big hit. This new downfall is certainly going to continue as the trial isn't over yet, and I'm sure there's still a lot more to uncover about the actress. But just seeing her career be hit so hard already kind of shows that she may very well lose her fame in the coming years. When she pegged the abuse on Johnny, his reputation fell apart, and now that this dynamic is being shifted onto Amber, we're seeing the same thing happen again. The only difference here is that Johnny was able to clear his name, and Amber might not be able to clear hers. Finally coming in at number 1, Carole Baskin. Carole Baskin became an overnight sensation following the release of the Tiger King documentary in March. Unlike Joe Exotic, she's been able to hold on to her fame just a little bit longer than he has, but I'm still predicting that she will lose her fame in the coming year. Yeah, sure, she's on Dancing with the Stars and that's just fueling her fame for now, but what's gonna happen when the show's over? So far her fame has been coming in waves. First it was the rise of the documentary, then things died down with its hype, then she came back up again when she was announced to be on Dancing with the Stars, but when she leaves she's just gonna fade back into obscurity. And now that this year is coming to a close, thank God. There's really nothing else left to keep her fame afloat. I think she's just gonna end up going back to being an animal activist and live out her days covering up the murder of her husband, who we all know was fed to the tigers. And with that, I'm gonna call it a day. Thanks so much for watching this one, guys. I really had to dig out my crystal ball and look deep into the future for this one, so I really hope you enjoyed it. If you didn't want to see more from us, hit that subscribe button and leave a like on this video to show us some love. Also, leave me some nice words in the comments and maybe I'll shout them out in the next video. That's all I got for you guys today, so stay groovy.